The title of this podcast is Rock Bottom. This is inspired by a recent conversation that I had with a very close friend. And we have the kind of relationship which I have with most of my friends, in which we can be very open and vulnerable with each other to help each other get to the other side, where there's peace, inner peace, open-heartedness, and a lot of joy, and a lot less suffering. And he was sharing with me, being very vulnerable and sharing about, difficulties in his relationship. And they've gone through some changes at this stage in their lives, and they've been married for, I think, about 18 to 20 years. But they're going through some changes that are affecting their lives, regarding careers and retirement and just an idea of what they thought their life would be like during this phase of their marriage. And he was telling me that she's struggling and that she doesn't have a practice. And so she is suffering through this phase of their relationship and really, quite frankly, this phase of life. And so I said to him, I said, it sounds like she's at a rock bottom moment. And he was like, yeah, she is to me, at a rock bottom moment. And I said, whenever I think about rock bottom moments, one of the things that always comes to mind this is a rock bottom moment, recognize it. But if you don't recognize it and don't take action to get off of this rock bottom moment, there's a rock bottom moment under this one. And it is going to be even more painful and filled with more suffering. I'm okay with the suffering and pain that I'm feeling at this level. I'm good here. I don't need to see the next level. So let me start to work on myself to get on the other side of this. And so I just kind of shared with him that one thing when I talk to friends about when they're at a moment to where things seem challenging and daunting, it's just filled with suffering and it feels like there's no way out. I try to bring them back to this is a rock bottom moment. And then I ask them, something like, are you sure you don't want to get off the ride right now at this rock bottom moment? And I don't care what the situation is. I have a friend who daughter has been recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and it's terminal. And her mom is really suffering over it in ways that are completely understandable that you losing a child, an adult child. But there are other ways in which she is taking on um, the victimhood about it, not for the daughter, but for herself. And like, she's pushing me away, or she doesn't want to be here, and she's worried and losing sleep over all this. She's giving up the drive to fight against this. And what I said to her was, I said, hey, listen, just show up for her. You go, you show up for her, and if she tells you to leave or that something's your fault, then you just continue to let her create the space for her to share those things, but don't take them on. And if she tells you to go, then that gives you more time in your day to take care of yourself, to go work out, to eat healthy, but you just be the space for all this to occur and continue to keep an open heart. That's your practice. But she's not doing this. She's taking it personal. She is making it about how this is affecting her, not just her daughter. And she's making other people wrong because they're practicing self-care as they also can support her daughter. And so I was like, you know, you're at a rock bottom moment here. And are you sure you don't want to get off the ride here? Or she's like, she couldn't even hear me. She just stayed with that moment. And I said, well, as your friend, I'm going to exit the ride where you are right now. I'm going to step off. You carry on. And so I talked to her a few days later, and she was at the next rock bottom moment that was even the one below that one. And it was even more pain and even more suffering. So I say all this to say that whatever you're going through, and you've heard it said in different ways that whatever you're going through, it can always be worse. That's the rock bottom moment. That's another way to another way to see it, is that whatever you're going through, if you don't take action, it can be worse. You go to the doctor and they tell you, hey, your blood pressure is high, or that we're concerned about your heart. And here are the things that you can do to kind of minimize some of the factors that are contributing to this recent diagnosis. We need you to exercise consistently, and we need you to really improve your nutrition. It needs to be healthier. Now, you can be upset about receiving this diagnosis, which is a rock bottom moment or a turning point. or you can do something about it. And some people have done something about it and kept commitments to themselves, like they want to put me on medication. I will not go on medication. So they start to take the steps to reverse uh, that almost certainty if they don't take action. And so that's a person who gets off. They recognize the rock bottom moment. They say, I don't want to see the next one. And then I have friends who are made aware of this moment and they don't do anything about it. And then what they find is the other rock bottom moment. And so whatever you're dealing with, financial hardship, in my case, it was, a tax situation, that was a rock bottom moment. And for years, I didn't do anything about it. And the moment got more severe, the rock bottom. And then I did something about it. I was like, I got to get off this ride. And I got off the ride. And then I was able to take intelligent action to not make things worse. So I encourage you that whatever you are dealing with is that if it feels challenging now, it can be more challenging. There could be a rock bottom moment beneath this one that is even filled with even more suffering. If you have a well-being practice, if you surround yourself with people that are, um, that are thinking in a way and living in a way to minimize upset, minimize suffering, those are the people that you want to talk to about your rock bottom moment and ask them not to save you, but to just help you create the space for you to where you can minimize what's happening at this time in your life so that you can transcend that to get off the ride.